Everybody, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me in this session ya namhlanje. My name again, guys, is Nomusa Malachi. I'm not gonna be showing a presentation like I did on the last session, but I just thought before we go any further namhlanje this afternoon, let me just start to just reintroduce myself so that you guys can know and understand ukuthi what is my passion, ukuthi ngikhule phi, ngikhule kanjani, and just help you guys just connect the dots to basically how I got to even start about these sessions, which you know what, they're very, very close to my heart. So as you guys know, I do work for government. Okay, I was born in the farms, Guamporomporo. I'm a farm girl. That's another title I call myself. I'm just your simple girl next door. There's nothing complicated about me. Very simple person. I am down to earth. I'm from Warden. That's in the Free State. That's where I was born and bred, guys. So I'm from a community where when I was growing up, it's just one primary school, one secondary school, and that's it. Okay, so you pretty much know your people around your community. I did not come from a rich family or a working class family, I can say. My dad was a brick maker. Okay, so he started making bricks from the age of 16. He joined his uncle, and then he basically just started his business like that. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, and I'm the last born. I'm number 7 from my family. So I've got a big family. So on that note, I'm a shout out to my brothers and my sisters. Because bahlale bangithethiza ukuthi angisho ngintshela ukuthi guys, okay, ngumntana khabo Lungelo, ngumntana khabo Ntombi, ngumntana khabo Du, my late brother Du, ngumntana khabo Jabu, ngumntana khabo Themsile, uMemory, ngumntana wakhabo Sibusiso, my late brother Sibusiso, ngumntana wakhabo Thembile. Yo, I hope angikhohlanga abantu. Okay, ngumntana khabo Lungelo, ngumntana khabo Ntombi, ngumntana khabo Jabu, ngumntana khabo Du, ngumntana khabo Memory, ngumntana khabo Sibusiso. Then it's myself. Then I've got a younger sister uThembile, ngumntana khabo Mvulo. Okay, so that's a little bit about my family. Big family, and I love big families. If you're from big families, you know what I'm talking about. So okay, guys, growing up big family, normal challenges, if ngikhuluma nge-bucket system, if it's something that you understand and get, that's where I come from. Mesaqala, I remember we moved from the farms to Elokshini, Ezenzeleni. Mesisaqala ekhaya, we were renting, and then eventually sathola umkhukhu, a stand, we build umkhukhu. So ngikhule nje, like a typical South African girl, nothing exciting. Except just that fact that I've got my mom and my dad and my siblings, So I grew up in the dusty streets. I grew up in open field, open areas. That was just my life and how I grew up. So some of the things that I want to share with you guys is because I want to connect it kule topic engibiza ukuthi when purpose meets policy. And if we are in this session for the first time, my intention is to try to inspire more people to join public service. But I was working in the private sector for a long time, and I saw some gaps. A person working on the street on a day-to-day basis, they don't understand, ukuthi kuchazani ukusebenzela ugovernment, kuchazani ukuba i-politician, kuchazani ukuba se-parliament, kuchazani ukuba i-employee of government. And so I grew up in that environment. There was a lot of hope. I was obviously born in apartheid, and I grew up in the environment where, Betula South Africa, we love you, our beautiful, Leo Genge. That's where I belong at Leo Genge. Yeah, yabo PJ Powers, basatula, not me watching about PJ Powers, batula, those beautiful songs. And 1994 my elections, I'm that generation when we were hopeful about things to blossom, things to happen. So some of the things that I grew up, my challenges that I experienced as a child, something that is worth mentioning, and I'm trying to connect it again to when purpose meets policy. I grew up as a very disciplined child, guys. I'm one of those kids that in my community would have a prefect, Umfana and Ntomazana at each and every level. So I was always a prefect. I was a prefect from a crash, and the prefect a crash ibhalaba khulumayo. So I took that job very seriously. That was a job ngithanda ke ukubhala abakhulumayo. So I think futhi the more ngikhula then mengibona ukuthi oh okay kahle kahle compliance seloku nje kuyizinto zami, it's within my personality. I'm very compliant. Angithandi ukwenza izinto ezi wrong, you know. So I'll be that person ngiyabhadala nje ama speed tickets. Yabona angithandi yeah, angithandi ukungazwani nabantu. Okay? I'm just that person. And then in one of the things that I experienced ukuthi ke ekhaya basically we were not wealthy or would afford from time to time, but would have constraints with regards to resource food and stuff like that. So I do have memories where ekaya would get my food parcels, you know. I have memories when at the age of 9 or 10, 1992. So at that age, I was doing my standard 2, 1990, I think. I could be wrong. Okay, let's leave the years. But when I was doing my standard 2, I did not have shoes. So I would just walk barefooted to school. And throughout winter, and before I would walk barefooted, to an extent that ufaka cardboard, you know, to patch. And most kids, because if you are born in your 80s, you generally can relate to those stories. So that's just basically how I grew up. And one of the things that comes to mind also is that in the same year, I think that year, was really one of the most difficult years, because esikoleni bebathanda ukucela ama 5 cent ukuthi we must go to our parents isize nama 5 cents, so that parents contributed to basically ukuthi kuthengwe ipolish, kuthengwe amakhandlela to ukuthi ayenziwe kube ipolish ukuclean esikoleni. So I went to my parents and I realized ukuthi I asked my parents ngicela 5 cent. My parents said no, I asinayo, you know. That's just how dire the situation was, guys. I was distraught. I didn't go to school. And then my mother sent me with my elder brother. Mega figure watshela uprincipal ukuthi awu nicela ukuthi abantwana beze nelokhuza ne 5 cent and unomusa akanayo, and she's refusing to come to school. So from that day the principal decided ukuthi no, we are no longer going to put the burden of maintaining the school ngokucela ama parents 5 cents. So I couldn't. So that's just how bad the situation was. But again, guys, I've just always been a determined person. You know, I've been a positive person. At the age of 13, I made some big decisions. I was that kind of a person. Age of 13, I gave my life to Christ. Committed myself in church. So I am also a church girl, and very, very have good relationship with my community and where I come from. So I just love that environment. So one of the things that I did, that I was quite good academically, and I was a little overcommitted, I can say. So I am a genius. I am a genius, okay? So that's how I consider myself. I don't know how you measure genius, but anyway, I was one of those kids who did very well academically, and basically committed myself in when is a schooling, pasagahle, until my teacher at the age of 14 said you should become a chartered accountant. And then, oh, okay, what's a chartered accountant? And I mean, at that time, we did not even have a library in our community. So I pursued this field of wanting to be an accountant. So it stuck with me because I was good in accounting, I was good in business economics. Then I just continued studying. Then when I was doing grade 11, we had a library. I went and I did my research. Then I found out, okay, to become a chartered accountant, you need a higher grade out 4 at least, and then you can qualify. I only had 2 higher grades, which was the languages, and then I had standard grade on everything. But still, I did not lose hope. I still applied to VETSTECH to pursue a diploma in cost and management accounting, which I did. When I sent in my application, I did not even have money for an envelope. So luckily, my brother was working at the post office. That was the first time, actually, I went to the post office at the age of 16. And one of the things that I was fascinated in the post office in is that I did the thing orange. I want to orange enkulu la balahlela khona. I'd say, let's say the receiver of the mail. Layers a post office. I mean, I know there's a generation that will not even relate to what I'm saying, but that's how we posted our letters, guys, back in the day. I did not even have a concept of understanding how do they send these things, you know, how do they get where they're intended to get. So I remember on the same day when my brother gave me an envelope, I asked for the postage paid envelope because I didn't want to have an effort to put in envelope and stamp. Then I put it in there, and as I was standing there, my brother was standing right next to me. Then the guy was supposed to where's out to withdraw the letters. I was worried, what is it doing now? Why I keep her envelope young? Because Lena, if it's taking me apply. And then they explained to me the business process. And then from that day, actually, that was the first time I could relate to a value chain of how a business work. Oguti, there are processes, there's a whole chain. There's a whole chain. Somebody picks this up, then they put them in the big package. Somebody comes and collect, and that person distributes to Johannesburg, to the different places, that distribution centers, and things like that. That was really the first time. I was 16, and I just got fascinated. And I think when I look back now, I know that little things like the business process, I'm very passionate about getting the business process right. I really love it. It's something that I do, and I think that's it actually iyabonakala in the things that I do on a day-to-day basis. I was driven, that thing I can tell you, okay? But I had no understanding of the world, what the systems of the world, what controls the world, what determines my success. I just knew that I just have to push. I was so driven that for me to come to Johannesburg, guys, I hiked on N3. Some of the things that I will talk as and when we do these sessions, Uguti, there is a certain conviction sometimes in your life that you get, whether you're a child or an adult, regardless of the risks that are surrounding you. But your conviction, you know what lento ngizoyenza. My mother likes to give me the feedback. She was very scared for me. But what she saw in my eyes, that's the thing that encouraged her to just stand by my side. So my mom and my brother Sahamba Songe just to go to N3. That was the first time I was coming to Johannesburg to study. I hiked on the N3 to get to Joburg. That's just how determined I was. So fast forward, when I was hiking to Joburg, I had not paid the administration fee to Vetstech because bebefuni administration fee mo faga application letter. I did not have that money. But they were kind enough to respond to me and give me an admission letter. When they responded to me, they also attached an application form, a funding, which was the TEFSA. It's what we call NSFAS today. So when I came end of January 2001 to Vetstech, I had that form. I remember it was pink. I still have it today. I had that form with me. Then I got to Vetstech. My brother had gone actually before me. Ugyong Batalela that 150. He hustled to get that 150 for me. So that was paid. Then that was me. I was in Joburg. I studied. I did my diploma in cost and management accounting. I used TEFSA. In my first day, I aced it. Okay. So I want to just go straight to how I studied, how I got to government eventually. My very first job, I'm moving fast. My very first job, I worked for a black-owned company in Sunning Hill, okay? It was fascinating because where I come from, if something is a business, is a company, is white-owned, okay? So it was the first time I see a black-owned business other than government. So I was like, wow, I'm fascinated. I joined. It was an ICT firm. I worked there for a year and a half. Things did not go well. The business shut down. I joined the second business somewhere. Okay. That's my speaker. I don't know what's going on with my speaker. Let me just switch it off. I don't know why it decided to play that, guys. Okay, anyway. Then after working in Sunning Hill, I worked in a second business where I was a junior accounts assistant. My first job was a bookkeeper, okay? So I went straight into working with finance. I worked straight into paying people's salaries. And if you know, and if you are in finance, Uguti, once they say, salaries, people start to treat you differently. People start to treat you seriously. My first job, I became Moses Nomosa. But that's the job in finance. People treat you serious. And now manje sokumele uba nale corporate presentation, statue, yabona? Uhlonipha abantu, uhlonipha umsebenzi because manje uphethe imfihlo zabantu. I mean, payslip, guys, is something that's very, very important. And so you start to sign nama policies, nama procedures. You start to develop even because that company was quite small and fairly new. But anyway, second company I joined, I was trained in my second company, also thoroughly trained. When I moved from that company, I had applied to various companies. One of the companies was Imperial, and it was an accountant position in Eastgate. I remember I went to that interview. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And I thought, wow. Then suddenly I got this other interview from a company that is also black-owned. I felt in my heart that time that, you know what, it's quite important for me to join a black-owned company because I'd love to see the success behind the story, I'd also like to be part of that story, okay? I joined this organization. I guys know I'm good at my job. That one thing I can tell you. All right. So I joined this organization, guys. I joined within how many years? I joined in 2007 in May. 2008, 2009, I was the first financial manager. So I was doing very well. I was excelling. I was like, oh, I have arrived. And I sent 10th floor, sent in office towers. So, sisters, Helium 17 every day. You know, sisters is part of the executive team. Sisters is a decision maker, you know. Then because this company was fairly new, I started to learn about developing of standard operating procedures, starting to develop policies. I had to learn about policies, guys. You know, one of the things that now umuntu ungakaze waba in a work environment, you don't understand ukuthi if you are having 100 people in an organization and you want uniformity, how are you going to lead them? How are you going to direct them? You're going to develop policies and procedures. And the nice thing is, it's not just me as a financial manager in the company and say, no, this is what should be done. You're using your best practices. You're using that very knowledge, that investment in time. That's what's expected of you in your work environment. So you bring in your innovation. And if say you are joining an organization and a company there's a generational gap, and when you are young, you should use that to your advantage, because like technology develops each and every day. So you bring in innovative ideas. I used to crack awards. Mina bengi rookie of the year in every organization. Rookie of the year. I'm not wasting time. I'm here to work, guys. You know, I'm from the farms. I'm in business. I come here, I'm in business. Fast forward, and in my mind, I just thought, you know what? I'm such a hard worker. You know, I'm driven. Kumule, guys, I had these goals of becoming an accountant, and there I was. Now I'm a financial manager. I'm taking these goals. I'm so successful. Okay, but in my mind, I did not have a world view of this bubble, yami, yaga no musa, of being a successful girl. I just thought all other kids now are getting the same opportunities, you know. I just thought because I went to high school, I had this dream, my teacher told me this, then I came to Joburg, even though I'm a hiker, you know, I just thought, you know, with hard work, with determination, you know, we can push, man. So I really had a very narrow view of what's going on, especially in South Africa. So then, fast forward, I lived a private environment. Then I joined this organization, which I shared in the first episode. But I also thought it was just the private sector. I wanted more manufacturing because I was doing my SEMA at the time. Boom, hello, the organization is actually a public entity, and they're busy translating it, you know, and putting the legislative requirement, implementing Public Finance Management Act. And I was the first employee who was employed in terms of the Public Service Act. Yay! Guys, right now, for the first time in my life, I'm no longer having an agent. If in my previous job in a private sector, when I wanted to appoint people, because I started there working with two of us in finance, I grew that structure to 11 people. And I was not just doing finance, I was doing human resource, I was doing shared services, or what you guys called corporate services. So a person who's a cleaner was reporting to me, a receptionist was reporting to me, an IT consultant was reporting to me, human resources, I was doing payroll, you know. Guys. So when I get to this side, then I'm like, damn, okay. Here, when I've advertised the post, I'm getting 3,000 applicants. That other side, when I was advertising a post, similar level, I was getting 15, 20 applicants. Then I was like, okay, this is a bit awkward. I'm not used to this. What's going on? Then I started to open my eyes to even understand, which, oh shucks. I thought every girl, especially and you are driven and you're going to, I thought everybody was getting the same opportunity. I thought the landscape was the same, you know. Then I realized, no, it's not the same, actually, for the majority of the people. So if people that find people like me at that time, they will say we are ignorant. And I just don't think so. You know, I think sometimes you're just driven and you focus on your goals and you just want to get certain things done. You just want to tick certain boxes in your life and you focus on that. And guys, it doesn't matter good team. For years, actually, when I was at Vetstech, I worked at a coffee shop, you know. I worked at a coffee shop. I just thought everybody's getting the same opportunity. I thought, you know, because I was coached. I really listened. You know, when I went to Vetstech, I laugh because my brother used to say to me, lalela ke la awuzelanga uzothola diploma kuphela ngifuna ukuthi na uhambe emapassaging ufunde. Look at the boards and read. So guys, I was in campus but I was reading, I was paying attention, but thini yini ku advertise in kwenzakala sporting activities. So and I think I can see now the more I'm getting young people coming for interviews, a person just went to varsity wayela nje incwadi uphethe nje diploma cha phethe nje diploma uphethe diploma na interpersonal skills not developed, communication skills not developed. Remember guys, English is not our mother tongue. So uyalaphayana in a government institution called the university. You are sweating your 3, your 4, your 5 years. You are working hard, and the only thing you are focusing on is a diploma, is a degree, is a disservice to yourself. Please, guys, ngicela ningayenzi leyo nto yangiphathisa. Ngicela niyeke. Abantwana benu nanibayisa envi ngicela nibatshele. You need to focus on everything that is there. Uma ufika technical, but kunama clubs and societies. Ama clubs and societies, they are there for you. Yalalela. Uyabona ukuthi lezi zinto lezi engisogola ngazo ukutraina abantu abafika fresh from start. Umuntu missed an opportunity laphayana technical. You missed an opportunity ku leadership. I need to be a leader. I'm saying over and above ukuthi uyofunda esikoleni university. Please don't just focus on the academics. Ngifuna ufocus mengabe uthanda sport, yenza sport, tennis, whatever, cricket, yela yonke into laphayana. Akodobhe into eyi-1. Ithi ngiphuza ijuice ngoba sengiyanithethisa. Ngiyabonga Henry ukuthi uyasengizwa wisdom ne. Sengiyanithethisa guys. Don't be day one. Emphasize on that. People should pick one thing. Pick one thing where you can participate in. Let me give you example things that happened to me at VetsTech. When I was VetsTech, I already had an ID, right? I did my ID in matric. In my first year, I went to a camp. Kumbule, I went to a public school and it was not a, what do you call? It's not a multiracial, or what do you call them? The model C. So I had never been to a camp. You know? So I got to campus. I joined a Christian organization. Every year we were camping. You understand? Go, you participate in my camp. Let me tell you, I traveled the world. Guys, I got my first passport when I was 18 years. Because it club and society here to eat, guys were going to Swaziland. I went to Swaziland, guys. I went to Cape Town. Okay, Cape Town. I went to Cape Town through this club and society. But not Cape Town, Robben Island. So, but still, guys, me figure Cape Town. Even though we drove in a bus, I figure Cape Town. You understand? I achieved so many things. I got to see the world when I was in campus, guys. I will talk a lot about these things and coach you, because when by the time you go employ la plan, by the time you go for your internship, guys, there's a sense of maturity and exposure that you have about the world. The whole idea for you to go to varsity is not just for people. Okay? Right. Ngasisebenza ke ku government sengiyaqala ke manje. Sesiya advertiser manje. Yay! You commit that training phela manje ngokuthi placement of skills and stuff and appointment. Hayibo. Ngithi ayingangami 3000 applications kwenzakalana. I need to understand. I started analyzing where I come from. I started to check ukuthi okay, kwa metric, how many people went to varsity? How many people had access to this? How many people? Then it started to bother me, you know. It really started to bother me because when I was in private sector, I had 4 students that I funded from my community to university, that I mentored to university. And that was a good success story. And I just thought everybody's doing the same. And I thought everybody's aware of how this world, and everybody's, you know, connecting their dots. And that's really why I'm here. To help you, the parent, to help you, the student, to help you, a high school person, to just be able to connect the dots, guys. I think there are certain things that we take for granted, you know, or maybe the language that is utilized, we cannot relate it. I said in my first session, one of the things is that we don't know how to interpret the political system versus our day-to-day life. When I got there, I was a person who watches TV, who watches the news, and I had a bad perception about government. I thought government is what I see on TV. My goodness, that's only 20% of government. Guys, what you see on a day-to-day basis, and I think if you want to really come and serve, one of the things I would coach you with is to switch off your television. Uyicime TV. Agisi ndawo. Okay? When I coach my team, I tell them the specific times I want you to watch the TV. In February, when the minister is talking about a budget, because it affects what you are doing on a day-to-day basis. Okay? Abantu who are in government, they are extremely professional, extremely committed, and I am not here to defend anyone, okay? But I'm just here talking about myself, because once you talk about government, you are talking about me. I explained in the previous structure, and I'll touch on before the end of this live session, Oguti, who am I talking about exactly? Right, guys? So when I went back, then I started to connect the dots. Oguti, yes, it was my purpose. Yes, it was me who had the desire to go to university. I even remembered little things, guys, that, you know, as a church person, I remember 2001, my mother used to say, yo mntanam, you know, abantu abamnyama sebazohola ipension. Ubabakho uzo reach the age yokuthi ahola ipension. So nje nginethemba ukuthi at least sizokwazi ukuthi babakho meka hola ipension sikunikeza imali. I-pension beyi 300 rand in 2001. That policy was approved in April 2021, in 2001. So the first 5 months of my life at Vextech, being in a monthly allowance, my sister took a loan to help me. And then when my father, in fact, I went to church and I asked the pastors, oh mama uti, my father is at the age of pensioning, so I'm just praying. I used to be that person, offer style. You know, I made big decisions to say, God, if it means I don't have a boyfriend which in your university, please, that's how determined, that's how fired up, that's how driven I am. I want to achieve this. So benga funima mistakes, guys, no boyfriends, you know. And then my father gets the pension in year 1, and I was getting 100 rand per month. Up until my second year, when my brother was now working and stable, and now he took the burden off my father from his pension. So it means baba mkule 300 bega tona bega nginikeza ini 100 rand. But I had never connected the dots. If I just talk about my success story and just focus on my effort and focus on my determination and focus on my discipline and focus on my commitment and just tell you, Uguti, you know what, I did it, without touching on how my purpose met the policies, my story would be incomplete. So I started to realize, Gucci, oh my word, I started to connect the dots. Oh, Gucci, when I was in high school and praying to go to varsity, there was somebody who was looking at policies and say, how can we fund the disadvantaged young people to go to varsity? When I was going to church and asking them to pray with me, Ugutu Baba Matoli pension, somebody was doing that policy and making sure that we've got a policy that gives Abantabamnyama a pension when they reach the certain age. So somebody was doing a redressing process. Somebody was discussing what there must be funding for Abantwana Nabase varsity. And I'm telling you, those days, guys, it have allowance like it does now. So it was just paying for my accommodation and my textbooks, and that was it, nothing more, you know. So I started now to connect the dots, and I started to think, oh my goodness, you know, for me to work for the first black company that I joined, there were policies that were enabling small medium enterprises to be there. But it's just that when you want to be a professional, you don't want to be associated with, you know, certain systems like politics and stuff. You just want to be a professional. You know that, you know what, whatever that I get or my success, I have earned it. And I can sit here and tell you guys that today I am a privileged black woman. I have earned the privilege. I'm not just privileged because in Kanta Ivelea Chico, I worked damn hard. But behind my hard work, there's a policy maker. Behind my hard work, you know, even for me to become a financial manager in that organization that is so successful, there's a Department of Trade and Industry that was enabling black people to start small enterprises. So I was starting now to connect the dots with, oh my word, you know, I'm not a self-made. I'd love to say I'm self-made. I'd love to say I'm not privileged. But guys, I am privileged. So today for me to be sitting here, the context of my privilege is to say I am privileged in the context of the majority of other young black girls who are out there, who are still struggling. I recognize my privilege. But I cannot sit here and lie to you and say, you don't have to work hard. So that is the attitude I want us to have, even when we are teaching our kids. To say, do your part. You know, have a purpose, have a direction, connect to something bigger than yourself. And I pray to God that somewhere the policies will meet you halfway. And that is why I'm here and want to inspire you to become policymakers. That is why I want to inspire you to be aware. There are people behind the system, okay? I like to explain the system. Guys, imagine at VetsTech when I made an application. The rules at VetsTech says you must pay the 150 administration fee when you're sending in your application. Those are the rules. But someone, it was a human being that time. We know the system, the technology, a human being had to look at my application, look at my results and say, damn, this poor child, she's doing very well. Somebody had to enter my data, okay, on a register or whatever it is that they were doing at that time. And so it had to generate a student number. That is a value chain. That is a business process. But imagine, guys, if that business process was just saying, if there is no payment, we just discard and neglect. And I think that is the part I want all of us to be aware. A small business process, one individual who did that process. Let me tell you how far. Okay, eating pause, I'm testing. Oh, thank you, Sbongile. Oh, guys, sorry, guys, that's a bad start. Sorry. Okay, so it's important, guys. Just imagine if somebody were told that application form, and it's a requirement, without looking at my results. And I even think there must have been a supervisor involved, isn't it? There was a supervisor, la pivot tech. Oh, I don't know. At that time, they already had standard response letters. But I can tell you, my letter felt so personal. I'm a proud University of Johannesburg alumni. My letter, may accept, Ishuguti, you still need to pay the 150. Okay? But now acceptance letter. Now student number. Okay? Now application for NFSAS. I felt Juguti, out of 10,000 applications, I feel and Juguti ba bege mina ngedwa. And that is what a business process is supposed to do. It's supposed to pick a child in the farms and make her feel Uguti, we can see you. That is what a business process is supposed to make you feel. And that is what customer service is supposed to make you feel. Yes, you are my colleagues. That is what a business process is supposed to make me feel good. I am special. You know, it's supposed to make me feel good. My dreams are valid. When I connect to my processes, when I connect purpose to your processes, and my processes are supposed to make me feel good. Wow, you know, I'm one in a million. You understand? And that's what VetsTech did to me. And I give them credit for that. I give them credit for that because acceptance understand that, guys? So that is the attitude engifunayo kimi nawe. Whether usebenzela uhulumeni or awusebenzela uhulumeni, especially mengabe ufuna ukuzongena la. Ufuna ukuzosebenza la. Ngifuna ukuconnect ukuthi yonke into encane oyenzayo doesn't matter ukuthi incane kanjani. There is a one black South African that you are touching. Okay? And I want you to have that sense of awareness. You understand? Who connected the dots? Because when I was in certain office towers, I was just thought, you know what, I've earned this, you know what, I've done them hard. My God, I can tell a powerful story. My story is powerful. But the more I connected with, oh my God, there are policy makers behind these things. So you should aspire to be a policy maker. And you should vote. You should vote. Because if you don't vote, you are denying the future generation of good leaders who can bring in new innovative policies. That will, you know, if you are voting, guys, it's like you are staying in an environment that has got a flowing river. You know what's a river? It's time. Time is moving. You are aware that time is moving. So kulile, so try it. It's kati siyahamba. Hey, Gandhi, there are people every day who are going there into that river. Bayayiklina lomfula. Okay? They're taking care of this river. Eh? Bayawuklina lomfula. Okay, benza sure ukuthi the water that you are drinking there is clean. Kunabantu abasebenza kulo mfula. Again, you are not in isolation, and that's what I used to think. I just used to think, oh, I'm free of politics. I'm free of a political system. I've ended up a financial manager, my payslip guys, mengifike bank yakhuluma payslip yami. Yenza izinto zenzeke payslip. It's a privilege. It is a privilege. And I'm very aware of my privilege. I earned it. I earned my privilege. I worked very hard for my privilege. It is a privilege, and it's something that I want each and every one of us to be conscious of, to be intentional about making sure that whatever area of speciality une continuity. You understand? Yenza sure ukuthi kune continuity. Mina ngiyengantshela in my first session, I'm a beneficiary of strong politicians, okay, who went there and gave me a dream. Mina, I had to plug my purpose into the policy makers, and now I have to redefine ukuthi ngo-2021 yini into okuyi-priority yami. Ngo-2021 mina, I can tell you, i-priority yami manje ukuthi wena mengabe uyojoinela government ube ne-understanding ukuthi uyokwenzani. That's number one. Ube ne-understanding of how you are contributing. Whether you're working futhi kwi-private sector, ube ne-understanding ukuthi you are not in isolation. No. There is an enabler. Behind every business, there's an enabler. And that enabler is a policy maker. I don't care ukuthi uBosoko can say, damn it, politics. No. It's a system of the world. Don't even personalize it. It's the system of the world. Umhlaba nje usebenza ngaleyo system. You understand? So I want us to dream big. I want us to be intentional. I want us to be aware. Singabi i-society ignorant ukuthi i-system yethu yomhlaba isebenza kanjani. So I just thought, guys, I should share ukuthi my purpose connected with policies, and that's why I'm here. One of the things that is actually funny, I remember in my second job, I when I went for an interview, this what happened. The HR lady was a white old lady. So after my interview, Miss Bengu Dlamini that time. Yeah, Miss Dlamini, how much is your taxi fare? We 24 rand. I was like, no, it's 24 rand. And she's okay. Wait on a second. Wang Shalisa reception. She ran. Where's that? Saka petty cash slip. Wang Sainisa. Wang niggas 24 rand. How? And I thought, hiya belung. Right. Then I joined the organization. And then I learned that this is a human resource policy. A policy of HR, it on recruitment. Wonke umuntu oza for recruitment la for interviews. You pay for their transport fare. We are only policy. A good policy does not have a skin color. So I thought because no. That's when I was like, wow. That's what a policy should do. That's what a policy should do. A policy ayiboni ukuthi umhlophe umnyama. No. Policy must work. Policy must not see. I can go on and on because ngiyayithanda le topic. But let us continue on our session today. I made a few notes for all of us. And ngizowafaka lapha kwi commentary session because last week angithi guys the first session sesaqala nge-financial accountant ne. So I want us today to just focus on a few things, and I said I'm not gonna beam the information yakhona lana ne. So we're gonna look now okay, how do you go about preparing for this interview? Thank you guys. I see your comments. Let me just look at your comments. Ngiyabona ma comments enu guys ne. I appreciate your comments. It's so nice to be interactive. Let me just give you a shout out. I see Kanya, thanks my darling. Nozugo, I see you. Fedile, thank you so much. You're still here with us. Tembi Sambo, thank you Sisi. Thank you. Yes, abalaleli labantwana. And kumele balalele guys. Because you know one of the things, mina, I was always aware Guti I'm gonna do well in life. I was very confident about that. Guti mzoba right. And yangihlupha lento ukuthi as abantu abamnyama eSouth Africa siyincoma inhlupheko angifuni nje ukuthi si give glory to poverty. Poverty is wrong. Ayikho right. So we must bring justice to that for all of our kids. So the reason I really emphasize ukuthi let us identify these things even nakubantwana bethu so that they can connect in becoming responsible citizens, in participating in their community, okay? In doing things that they love. Phela abantwana bethu they're not going to be pursuing careers because I pursued a career because guys I was tired when I have my periods I didn't have my pads, So my kids are not going to be going through that. So what is it that I'm going to give my kids to connect to? It's going to be purpose. You understand? So it's very important because we are raising a generation engasahlupheki per se whilst there's majority, but there's also majority of us ama 1980s ama 1970s siyasebenza guys, sinamapayslip amahle, siyanyuka, we are climbing the corporate ladder. You know, we are the first people of this, we are the first people who achieved this, we are getting all these accolades. But what's happening with the generation elandelayo, they can't understand the language of 1970s, they don't understand that. So we have to give them something better. And that's something better with you guys. You are part of a system. That system is live. It is moving. It is changing. It is continuous. You understand? So, yes, you know what, Fedi, let's tell some. I haven't loaded that session on YouTube. I think I got stuck in the editing session. But as soon as loaded, I'm gonna post here on Facebook, and then I will let you guys know. Good to say loaded. So let's just finalize again, guys, on tips how to prepare for this interview. I just took a few screenshots. Screenshots, and then I will just want you guys to be aware. So let's just have a look also, guys. I told you last week www.infodesk. That is the website you need to use. This week, guys, I'm just reading from my phone. Sorry if you are losing my eye contact. There are I'm a post advertising with this week, national government, provincial government, and municipality are 4,812. Lama post, guys, every week, every Monday, I load. So I know some of you need to look seven is EDPSA. I recommend the website ngoba ihlanganise everyone, as long as this organization is part of government. And I also recommend this website more when the career planning for abantwana bako. And I also, on top of that, guys, recommend e-coaching. If you've got teenagers that want to pursue careers, I recommend e-coaching. Ulebu, I tagged her here on my local. I will also tag her here. Please take your kids, your teenagers, to coaching for teens. Coaching is very important. And she does not charge a lot of money. So I really recommend that. So Aguma major, national, provincial, and municipal public entities, there are 391 vacancies. I love public entities. That's where I got my induction, guys. Induction. Induction, guys. Let me tell you about induction. It's a new thing. I don't know. No, can you attend induction? At National School of Government. Young sees induction because I thought working for government is because it means I'm a politician. What's the induction? Uma usebenza for government, you need to be able to imagine yourself working for government regardless of any political party. If you can imagine that, then you are independent. Once you are a professional, you need to be able to be independent and work. Doesn't matter what the cabinet, you need to show up and get the job done. That's what we are hired for. So we are able to why good professional. Guys, they are full of government. People are educated. You understand? And that's the language I want to give to our children. You know, to serve people, to show up. If you are employed through the process, because it doesn't matter what you ubani or lapaya we cabinet, you need to show up. You need to give your 100% because when you are a professional. Amen, Leon down. Right. The next vacancies, there are 50 posts, guys, on constitutional institutions. There are 490 vacancies, guys, for universities, for FET, for SITAs. There are 310 vacancies, Guma schools, hospitals, and power stations. Bursaries, internships, learnerships, and training programs, 1,032. So this week alone, we've got more than 6,000 positions that you can apply for. Please check it out, guys. Please check it out. It's a very good website, that one. All right. So a quick recap also last week, guys. In the last session, what does the National Assembly do? In National Assembly, it's politicians. There's about 350 to 400 seats there, and they approve the budget. That's what I explained to you guys. Then ngangichazela umehluko ne-accounting authority ne-accounting office. So if kuthiwa kusasa ngiyi-minister mhlambe it's in juice department yami ngiyithandayo, ngi-minister of higher education, I will be the accounting authority. Just like when you are starting a company, right? When you are starting a company, une-shareholder, i-shareholder yakho izoba part of the board and izoba part of the non-executive directors. Sometimes non-executive, it depends. So i-minister is a shareholder. You understand? You can think of it like that. So a minister is there to oversee ukuthi the vision and mission of the cabinet is achieved. And people like to say this country ayina vision. Ngicela futhi mengabe uzosebenzisana nami ne, ngicela ushintshe language ne, ngicela kushintshe ukukhuluma. We've got an amazing vision. We've got an amazing vision. The language that you are using to communicate it to us, you and me, mhlambe idinga ukuthi siyithi kancane, yabona? Shy facelift njengobuso bami, yayibona? So those are the things I'll be sharing with you kulama sessions. Ngifuna manje ube curious ukuthi we've got a vision. I-vision yethu yini? You understand? So ngizonsharela lezo zinto lezo ukuthi uzoconnect, because wonke umuntu oqala i-company angithi kune-problem azama ukuyisolve. So all our departments njoba anje, they've got a problem that they're trying to solve. So I want each and every one of us to connect kuleyo problem leyo in our different ways, even if you're an entrepreneur. In fact, I say, if you want to be an entrepreneur and start to do a business, you must use the National Development Plan, because guys, the research is there, the business case is there, the statistics, the projections are there. You take that thing, you package it, you make your business plan, you will get funding anyway. You will move and you'll be able to solve the problems because they are talking to the statistical data, to real data, alive, ephilayo. Yes, South Africa. You don't have to waste your time. Research, go to the National Development Plan and do your research. That is your business case. Uhambe yoqala business eshisayo eyisimanga. Yilezo zinto engifuna ukuthi ni connect kuzo, nibe aware nabantwana benu. So what am I saying? National Development Plan. If after today you want to start and research and understand how to solve problems, lezi zinto ezikuhluphayo emoyeni ukuthi okay, this problem enginayo it belongs into which department, we check under that department, find my statistics, find my priorities, find out what is going to well. And you know why you need to use the National Development Plan? It's because it tells you what is the problem, what is the source, what is the cause of the problem, and how it needs to be done. Then when you can be innovative and it as an entrepreneur and say, okay, mina I can add this for my community, mina I can customize to my community for 1, 2, 3, 4. Yela information ikhona ihleli lapha ya ku internet. Again clickeni akoqale manje ukusebenzisa idatha yakho ikusebenzele ngoba information ikhona. All right guys, angiqhubeke ke sengiyaqeda guys. Right. Preparation for an interview. We are doing for that financial click, guys. Right? So, first thing that I want you to be aware of is dress code. Ngicela ni remember ukuthi environment engikuyo yini. Ngikhuluma mina coming to join public service, okay? Angazi laba abanye mhlambe ama divisions. Mina ngikhuluma ngale yami. So mina, when you are coming to see me, please dress formal. I know you want to be yourself. Young people, I just want to be myself. Yes, accept yourself, be done, be happy with yourself. When you're coming to see me, be formal. Because I don't want you to stress. I must be focusing on the colors that you are wearing and everything. No. Just be formal, your simple formal, your grays, your blues, your corporate colors, show up in them. Yes, right now in this time and age, we are interviewing. In my current organization, we are doing virtual interviews. I've done 10 interviews since we COVID. I've done all of them virtual. But mele still ube muhle. And if you are going to do virtual, I test nabangani no mama nema parent. I go to guys, I've got an interview. I want to prepare myself. I want to test my speaker. I want to just prepare. You know, when you're going for an interview, rather over prepare than to be under prepared. So I still expect you to look good and look proper. So generally, go public service uma uza for interview, there will be at least 4 people. Why? Excuse me guys, sugar does this to me actually. Okay, so there'll be at least 4 people. There will be the head of the unit that you have applied for. Then there will be a colleague. That colleague might not necessarily be in the same unit. If you apply for finance, in my financial accounting, I will get a colleague from supply chain. So there will be peers, who's my colleagues. Generally, minimum is 2, depending on the level foot of the position. Then there will be a union rep. The systems in public service, they are standardized everywhere. I've been working now for 8 years. I've always had that panel. There will always be a union. The role of the union, guys, is to ensure ukuthi kune fairness, to ensure ukuthi uma si interviewe umuntu wokuqala ngabuza I follow up question na kuloya mhlambe I follow up question yakhona is specific, yabona. Then on the next person I must ask similar, and unless if it's not necessary, but iyenzela ini kube khona consistent, kungabi khona I candidate enginikeze I advantage over the other. People say newabheka ama CVs. Hell yes. I went through more than 10,000 CVs in my first 6 years of employment. I went through 10,000 CVs. Because why? We were establishing a new structure. So I was the first employee in that structure. My colleagues came and assisted me and trained me how to do interviews. I went through each and every CV. I'm now in an organization where there are systems. So human resource will get the information and they go through every goddamn CV. And then they sort you by criteria. Mese Izagiti as a panel, I still go through each and every CV to verify. So we do that. Please. If you know people about you, how many CV? They're not your friends. And if when you're looking for a job, please focus. Beke labantu abakhuluma izinto ezinegative bafuni. Right, guys, ngizoqeda sengihlalisa isikhathi eside. Yo, it's been almost an hour. Yo, I can talk. All right, so then there'll be human resource person. So 4. Head of the department, another panel member, union, and then human resource. So human resource is normally the secretary and the number minutes of the whole process. And then a human resource is the person that you'll be communicating with. Actually, come for an interview, come on this date. So please feel free to ask any questions. Human resource should be your close friend. Ungabi intimidated. No, ungabi intimidated. Your job is for you to come to the interview as comfortable as possible. Okay, so excuse me, the person over HR, feel free. Doesn't matter what institution it is. Kumelu kululege, kwazubuza, usho whatever you're afraid of, because they are excellent at coaching people. That's one thing I learned. My God, me trainer a senior is Shosho, guys, that's a Department of Labor. I can't mention her name, but she's an expert in recruitment. My God, guys, I am passionate about placement of people and hiring the right people for the right positions. I give credit to that lady. Yo, my good, yeah, people are good out there. Yes. Yo, you guys, you don't know. It's just that lesson that as kuluming hazo, but nina. People are good out there. People, they are doing their job out there. People are earning their monies out there. I'm telling you. Right. So you need to understand the mother body of the organization. So focus on financial accounting. Guys, we are going to ask an icebreaker question. You know, good generation, this question to tell us about yourself is boring. And I understand where you guys are coming from. But I am going to ask that question. You know why? I am in South Africa. English is not our mother tongue. So the intention of the interview is not to confuse you. The intention of the interview is to get to know more about you. So I will ask you, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. And I know, there's a generation that says, phew, that question is boring. Hey, Pelage, the unemployment rate is very high for me. And I don't want to interview, but confused. No, I just want to know you. That's it. I'm not here to trick you. Tell me about yourself. So prepare for that question. Prepare. That's an icebreaker. I've been asking that question for the last 8 years. So, tell us about yourself. Be ready. Be prepared. And like this is an entry position, right? So when you're going to tell me about yourself, it should be within the context of a professional environment. Okay? And then if you're panelly curious to know more about you, they will ask. But focus on the things that are more professional related. Okay? So excuse me guys, on this one, ama key performance indicators wakhona bewathini. Identify accurate recording of the GL. Petty cash. So once kukhulunywa nge-petty cash, guys, things that you should be worried about immediately, they're talking about is safeguarding and the risk of theft. Angithi once you are dealing with money, you know that the inherent risks that come with money is theft. So what controls can you think about? And this is at a click level. What can you think about? What about reviews? What about spot checks? One of the things engiyibona needs at my interview, uma ngabe kukuthi ufundele i-financial accounting, why nikhohla leya information eniyifundele lapha esikoleni? Emsebenzini guys, yazi asibuzi asidinge izinto ezi out of this world. No, angeke ngifike ngithi ngicela ungibuildele a moon from scratch. No, I just want to know the same thing oyifundile lapha ya. So ku entry position like this, I always encourage you guys ukuthi if ufunde i-Jackson and Stent kunale textbook base isebenzisa ngesikhathi sami, you must keep that textbook. Ungayilahli textbook yakho yase university. And parents, please don't let your kids to throw away a textbook yakhe ye accounting. If kukuthi ufuna ukuphesiwa kwa finance, internal controls and finance, don't throw them away, because those help you kakhulu more prepare for interviews, ne? Very, very important. Any into that I want to warn you guys, the common mistakes. This is a financial accounting position that you've applied for, and I'm interviewing you. And this thing is in a TVET college. So the core business of a TVET college is lecturing. It's a training college. I'm interviewing you for accounting. So, Mawuza for interview. You can't tell me that when you want to be a lecturer. Even though at the back of your head, you've got this divine career plan. You know why, ne? If you're in the private sector, I think I had more tolerance for that. And maybe it's because of the flexibility of the sector itself. But go public service, it's better, even though you've got that at the back of your head. Uguti, for example, nyosebenza a public protector. Public protector benza core business abo investigations. I'm a lawyer. And when you're an accountant, but you are passionate about forensics, auditing, cracking the whip. But I'm employing you as an accountant. I want you to focus on that. So don't just start and say, ngifuna ukuba a forensic investigator and specialize in investigating in finance. No, it will just set you off on a wrong track. It just, yeah, no. Please don't do that. So those are common mistakes. And when I see a person going to Department of Education, yes, it's a training, it's a teaching environment, but to apply it lack. We know that there will be opportunities. Government, that's one thing that I love. You can diversify your career within the core of the business or of the department. That is something that I love. If nje umuntu othanda ukuhlala uba ne challenge, you can plan the most satisfying, the most fulfilling career within your department. So, but when you're going for interview, ungasuqale kungitshela ukuthi ufuna ukuba a lecturer. Even though I'm interviewing for the accountant thing, because that may come across as if your priorities are confused. So please take note of that thing. Don't make that mistake. A lot of youngsters make it. They make it a lot, like all the time, and then, you know, like, yeah, but difficult. You make life difficult, because what I want to hire someone that I know ukuthi make niggas umsebenzi accountant uzoba committed kuwo. Yabona? So wena if because umsebenzi accounting kanti ufuna ukuba lecturer, uzoba uloku uhleli nama lecturer lapha yana. Ngibusy ngifuna ipractical, uzoba uhleli ngale ngoba inhliziyo yakhe lapha yana. That's why futhi to have a proper plan ebhalwe phansi is important. Guys, so the last few things I'm gonna touch on this post. Remember, you want the first session of this, you are gonna get it. I am gonna put this thing live, right? So there's expenditure and general ledger payments. Here we are talking posting. Bafuna ukwazi etiquette yakho. We understand that you need general ledger. Yini expenditure. Nabathi kuwe debit ne credit. Bakunikeza example. But na rental expense. Which ntela, what are you going to debit, what are you going to credit? Kumele uzwisise zonke lezo zinto lezo. So understand futhi ne cash and accrual. So here now I'm specific. Please bear with me if you're not in finance. I'm specific to this position in finance. Uma usebenzela ama national department, aku cash basis. Cash basis ukusho ukuthini? Ama transaction are recognized mase sibhadalile. But if you're working for public entities, constitutional entities, business enterprise, FETs, generally sisebenzisa accrual. So we are posting using ama invoices. So if you are in finance, you'll understand. This post says assets and stores, inventory, dispatching, reconciliation. If uzoba njoka accounting and finance guys, uyithande i-reconciliation. Mawubona ama numbers kwamele usmile. Mawubona ama numbers kwamele usmile. Ubothanda nje ube umuntu wokuthi uma uyospenda estolo ubokwazi ukuthi you know that's how I started anyway. You don't have to start there, but I'm just showing you the etiquette. Ubokwazi ukuthi imali yakho nayiphelile inyanga ubokwazi ukuthi okay u5 rand ngospende kanjani u2 rand ube nje naleyo etiquette. Yadingeka ke leyo etiquette ka accounting to be able to account for your stuff. If you have that etiquette, you'll be an amazing FM in the future. General ledger verification, year-end reporting and audit files. Every position will always require a reporting. Noma ngabe kuthiwa wenza umsebenzi omncane kanjani. Umuntu osebenza home affairs kwamele a report ukuthi every week ngibona ama client amangaki ngizo-resolve ama query amangaki ngi-attende kubantu abangaki. So i-reporting i-culture ya yonke position akhathaleke ukuthi incane kanjani akhathaleke ngisho noma kuthiwa uyacleaner uzoba nesitoko ozosimanage i-inventory ukuthi ngisebenzisa ama paper towel amangaki kule nyanga isitoko sami sisele singakanani. You understand? So those are the things guys I want you to focus on kule position. I've got just two last things. Two. I promise you I am done. Isn't this very important laphayana kwa safeguarding of asset? Ama asset are important ukuthi wa understanding e verification, right? Okay? Ngiyabathanda abantu abasebenza ku asset management. Asset management imnandi, and I'm going to share a lot of things for you guys. Asset management is so diverse and it's very very nice. Kodwa umuka asset management okusho ukuthi kumele uthande ukuthi uyabala izitulo zakho ukuthi zingaki, ukwazi ukwenza ama verification, ukwazi ucorrelate what's on the floor with what is on the paper. So this position, that is what it required. And I think, and also I'm curious in the future nibongitshela if kukuthi kune position that I sampled here and you guys actually applied for it, or if you are having an interview. I'd really just love to know. I'll be so excited to know ukuthi uhambe kanjani ku interview. So okay guys, this concludes our session today. I hope you are inspired. I hope you've got a little bit of light. I hope you've got a sense of awareness, or that you are not living in the bubble. Even if you don't like politics, I'm not talking politics as I indicated. I am talking public service. I'm talking somebody who's employed as a result of having a professional qualification. One of the things that we always talk about is to say we want to professionalize a public service. Says we professionalize a public service ngokuthi guys, ama minimum requirements are very clear. Ukuthi kumele ube ne national diploma for certain positions. Kumele ube una 3 years experience. I will share that chart and I can show you guys ukuthi what are the growth opportunities that are required. Angeke nje ube senior manager ungenayi 5 years kwa manager. Angeke ube manager ungenayi 3 years. You understand? So good clear lezo zinto lezo. Into sesidinga manje ukuthi sishintsheni attitude yethu, ukuthi manje si-interpreteni izinto, nokuthi thina sesingaphakathi sihlonipheni umsebenzi wethu, nokuthi si-understand ukuthi yonke into oyenza njengale supervisor eyangibhalela incwadi evetstech ukuthi wozuzosebenza and they impacted my life. In fact, I must Google that person because I'm gonna Google that person and write them a letter and say thank you for following a business process, and thank you for not neglecting my application, because here I am today guys. I am a privileged young black woman and I'm enjoying my life, and I want to challenge you to say this is our country. This is why I'm wearing this beautiful South African flag. Neighbor, want to challenge you, take ownership of your country. Take ownership. And I can go on and on ilanga lize liyoshona. Ngiyabonga Thembi Sambo, ngiyakubonga. Hello Matapelo, ngiyakubona sisi. Hello. Hi Thembisile. That's my sister. Hello Thembisile. Thank you for tagging everybody there. Zenande, thank you Standa Sam. Thank you very much. Thank you guys. I really appreciate your presence here. I'm not going to delete this live like I did the last time, guys. Hey, perfectionism nasethe iyafika bazalwane, ihlupha umuntu. So I am aspiring ukuthi regardless of the mistakes and things that I hear ihlale laphaya. That's how we learn, guys. Otherwise nje akukho la singaya khona. So guys, I love you. And I thank you for your time. Are there any more comments, any questions? Yes, Fedile. Okay, I did answer that one, Fedile. No, Kanya, thank you so much, Tanda Sam. Thank you, guys. Oh, Fedile says, wow, what a session. It really made me fall in love with finance again. That's what I want, Fedile. That's what I want. And I don't want, and Mina, now, I don't know if you belong to my gang. Mina, I wanted to be a chartered accountant, but I never achieved that. So I had to pivot. That's the word. They call it pivot. Okay? So I had to pivot and find my way around. Because really all I wanted, guys, was financial freedom, isn't it? Okay? So when my teacher said, you must become a chartered accountant because you're good in accounting, I asked him, does it have money? So I'm free man, guys. And I've gained access to that. I've gained access to money. I mean, I can tell you, by the time I was promoted as a financial manager in a private company, that was in 2010, I was already earning 40,000 rands a month, guys. So I say that with confidence and to encourage you. I mean, if you are 28 and 27 and you are earning 40,000 rands, it tells you, Gucci, finance does have money. Finance does give you that opportunity, So thank you, Prudy. I'm so happy, Prudy, that Mrs. Mohapi, you are enjoying this. Guys, I love you. I can go on for 2 hours. I love it. I like it. Thank you, guys. You're giving me goosebumps. I love it. I love the feedback. So if you guys really can find a way, go start kuma public entities. And if you are already in government and you never went kwi orientation in National School of Governance, just go to HR. Go babuza ukuthi ngisacela ukwenza le induction. I swear ngale induction. I swear ngale induction. I swear ngale ungayenzeli i-compliance le induction. Ungayenzeli to tick the box. Awoye kule induction ithatha 25 days, 5 days. Umcela nje uboss wakho mina ngayenza over 24 months ukuthi ngicela nje ngilongithi 5 days ngishone khona. I'm telling you, you'll have a different view of South Africa. You'll have a different view of connecting the role of political system to the administrative system. You'll have a different view. And I'm saying, it's not all of us, Esyoba, guys, if you supervise, I'm 17. If you supervise, also understand that budget. I used to be frustrated njengezinto encane ukuthi la ngibuya khona bengistressa ifence. Ukuthi ifence yahlala iphukile njalo nje. And angiyithandi lento ukuthi bazothi I'm a politician. I used to ask my colleagues mengabe bengenza umsebenzi ukuthi party politician ayikho nje la around us nje. Iminister kudele. Okay, ngizonithethisa ilanga zilizwe loshona. But I would love to reignite the fire. I would like to reignite the passion for us to serve. In your small corner, ubrightnishe the light. Whether you supervisor, yase home affairs. Ngifuna ukuthi nje nangene home affairs ungifilishe ukuthi uyangibona. Mina ngedwa. Unginikeze customer service. Ngifuna ukhuthale. And I know umsebenzi wonke umsebenzi unezinkinga zawo. Kunamaboss akwayi njengami, kunamaboss anobuntu njengami futhi, kunamaboss. So sifundeni the etiquette, sifundeni izinto ezistressayo on a day to day. And there are 2 million people that I'm targeting because there are 2.1 people that are employed under public service. I love you guys. Thank you, Nogukanya. Thank you for this, for saying this is a powerful session. Thank you, Mrs. Magda Nozipo. Guys, please take care and thank you for sharing this. I really appreciate it. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.